Hello champions, welcome to the session. Hope you all are gearing up for the festive season and all around Northeast and even all around the states of our India, there is a diversification. The unity is there, is that we are celebrating the spring season, that is the advent of spring season and the beginning of a new year in a regional way. Every region have their own names to celebrate this festivity in their own way. So most of them are celebrating this as a spring festival, which is also combined with a regional festival. Hope you all are gearing up, and from my point, from individually, I am wishing everyone a happy spring festival, irrespective of all the names that you all have. Here we know that in India there is unity in diversity. Yes, with this note, let's start the session for today. Today's session, in this session, we are going to discuss some of the psychological disorders which are very specific and their features, the characteristics, I mean to say, the characteristics in relation to the diseases or the disorders, not disease, the disorders are very specific, and so we are going to discuss these features today, where you will be able to identify each of the disorder in their own specific mode. So whenever questions will be coming in relation to the disorders, you will be able to click the right option because you will be knowing the features. Yes, let's start the session. So according to ICD, what is ICD? In reference to the details given in your book, that is your 12th standard book, ICD-10 is the 10th version, that is the 10th publication of International Classification of Diseases, and this report, the detailed analysis of all the disorders on the basis of the 10th publication is prepared by what? Which organization? Who? That is World Health Organization. Under World Health Organization, we come to know that people are facing a lot of psychological disorders because of there are a lot of factors, that is behavioral factors, psychological factors, cognitive factors. On the basis of these factors, some disorders are coming up, or they are evolving, or people are experiencing this kind of disorders. So what is the name, or how can we identify these disorders? So here we also, it is an interesting session because the session is going to gear up, or it is going to have an interesting vibe, because here we come to know the identification of the disorders. Along with that, we will also be able to identify these kind of disorders in and around us. We see people around us who are actually facing or experiencing these kind of disorders, and even at times you yourself or me myself may be facing this kind of disorders or some kind of imbalance in our psychology. So the number one, on the basis of the ICD-10, the first disorder that we come to know is the anxiety disorder. From the word itself, anxiety, what can you gather or what can you recollect? Anxiety here is the fear, the problem, not exactly the fear. Anxiety here is the stress. The stress or the tension or preoccupied, when your mind is preoccupied with some kind of anxiety, that is a kind of disorder. And as a whole, under anxiety disorder, we have these 4 forms of disorders, that is generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, phobias, and separation anxiety disorder. So here what we know that under anxiety disorder, we have the first form, that is generalized anxiety disorder, which can be identified when a person or when a person is actually going through a process of stress and he is having some kind of hypertension, palpitation, breathing problem, thinking problem, expressing problem, and problems in his activities. So that is something where the anxiety is having a generalized mode of expressing itself. But when we come to know about the panic disorder is a disorder where a person is not able to perform as he is or whatever he is at the opportune time or the exact time. For example, any event. So it is related with events. What happens here, due to some kind of stressor or some kind of external stimuli, a person is not being able, he is having some kind of panic attack. That means, for example, a person when he is sitting in an exam hall and he knows the answer. For example, he knows the answer and he even knows the explanation, the examples, everything. But once he has seen the question and he has read the question, all of a sudden he becomes blank. He couldn't answer, he couldn't write, he couldn't even click the option. So that is a kind of panic disorder where he is overburdened with the thought that he may be not writing the answer correctly, even if he is very much optimistic before the exam. Before the exam he was optimistic, he was overconfident, but at times it becomes a disorder when he can't express or answer the question correctly at that opportune time. That is a kind of a panic disorder. After that, what we have, that is the phobias. What is phobia? We have already explained, and we have a lot of sessions based on these phobias where we come to know about the fear. The fear where we are not actually afraid. Afraid is different and fear is different. Afraid is something where you are fearful of some incident, where you are afraid, which is a short-term thing. But fear is something which is very intense and which has now resulted in some phobias, in some form of phobias. Now, what are these phobias? Number one, under phobias, we have specific phobias. Specific phobias in relation to your book is that phobia due to some kind of external stimuli, due to placing yourself in some kind of a situation, or fear for some kind of animals or some kind of closed spaces. So here in BPS we have already recorded sessions on the basis of the psychological disorders, where we have clearly explained what are the disorders, and a list of disorders has been explained on the basis of specific phobias, where we have discussed about claustrophobia, xenophobia, allurophobia, etc., etc. So hodophobia, aquaphobia, a lot of phobias are there which you should know. You should know a list of phobias, not only to answer the questions under psychological disorder, but also to improve your vocabulary, to identify what kind of phobia you have, or your people or the people around you have. Okay, these are the specific phobias. Apart from that, we have some kind of social phobia. Under social phobia, one of the prominent is agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is the phobia to meet someone new, or to be placing yourself in a new environment, or to be apart from your home. So you can as a whole summarize that agoraphobia is a phobia where you will be entering into a new space, into a strange new space, and that space you are not adapted with that. So that fear that you won't be able to adapt with the new situation is creating some kind of phobia in you. So that is one of the prominent example that we have or that you all have in your 12th standard book. After that, we have separation anxiety disorder. The name itself, the acronym itself is SAD. That means here is something which is related with sadness. So you can't say that sadness is one of the features, but we can say that the separation, the anxiety which is related with separation is creating some kind of disorder. So for example, separation from your loved ones, separation from your possessions, separation from your belongings, etc., etc. The list goes on and on. So here what happens, a person when he is being separated from something which he dearly loved or which he valued highly, is creating some kind of anxiety, and as a result of this anxiety he is experiencing some kind of disorder. Disorder in the sense that he or she is not being able to express himself or herself in the right mode or in a normal mode or in a healthy mode, which is not being accepted in the society as something normal. So that is what is disorder. So here we come to know the anxiety disorders. The heading is anxiety disorder, and under that we come to know about generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, phobias, and separation anxiety disorder. And most prominent are these two: phobias and separation anxiety disorder. So you may be given a question to identify one of the phobia. So you need to know a list of phobias, specific phobias. So for today, the homework, because your festivities are coming, so homework is this: you have to know some kind of specific phobias. So this is the homework for today. Though the festivities will be going on and around, you can just scroll down in the Google, or most probably you will be going through the Google. So in Google you will get a list of phobias. At least try to identify 10 of these prominent or common phobias, which will ultimately help you to correct to opt for the correct answer in your exams. Apart from that, I also want to add that separation anxiety disorder will be coming in your exam, or it is frequently asked. Most probably, the probability is there that there will be questions based on input text. So there will be a text input on the basis of which you need to identify the disorder. So whenever there is some kind of a separation, you will be able to identify that as the separation anxiety disorder. Hope you all understood, and hope the intensity of the interesting point in today's session is going higher, because you came to know about one of the most prominent anxiety disorder, and in the next we will be discussing about more disorders, more prominent disorders, which we will be doing we will be continuing. So here what happens, the homework is there. So in this sheet you just move to and fro in the video in order to understand what is the homework and what are the concepts that I have already spoken or explained. Yes. Next, number 2 is OCD, that is obsessive compulsive disorder. Under this disorder, under OCD, we have the formulations of, one is the obsessive and the other is the compulsive. So here these two forms of disorder is actually merging between themselves. They are merged to form the OCD or the obsessive compulsive disorder, where a person experiences some kind of obsession. Obsession means the exaggeration of some ideas or some kind of thoughts, where a person is preoccupied with the repeated version of the same idea or the same thinking repeatedly or one after another. So that kind of an experience where a person is actually can't think, or he is helpless to think about something new or different, there we come to know about the obsession. Obsession in the sense that he is very much preoccupied with the same thought. And when this obsession is actually turning to something compulsive, where a person is compulsive or he is dominant under the obsession that he need to work out his obsession into some kind of activities. Now, when the obsession is resulting to some kind of activities and it is compulsing him to carry out those activities because of the basics of his obsession or of his exaggeration, we come to know or we identify it as the OCD. So if you want to know about the examples, detailed examples related with OCD, just refer to the recording classes that we provide here in BPS. One more thing I just want to add in this session is that in BPS we are providing facilities or services that you can avail in free even if you are not subscribing or you are not registering under our BPS family. So what is the free facility? Free facility is that you can go through the basics that we provide here in the BPS website, and even you can go through an actual literal form of the exam that is going to be conducted by NTA, that is your CUET undergraduate exam, with a set of questions, that is the demo questions that we are providing here, with a list of questions of from 20 to 25 questions where you can opt the correct answer, and at the end of the exam that you will be appearing, the short exam that you will be appearing, you will be able to know that in which level your preparation is going on, because the answer sheet will automatically come, it will be generated once you complete the test. So it is very helpful because it is something which you can avail in free. Apart from that, I just want to add is that in BPS, the services that we provide are the interactive sessions, the sessions of recorded classes, the recorded sessions, the study materials, and a list of 3,000 plus MCQs. So champions, we are here a platform. We are actually we are building champions, or we are making champions out of here, where this is the only platform for the entire Northeast to crack CUET undergraduate exam. And because the exam is a mandatory test, in order to enroll yourself in the degree course in your desired university, you need to prepare for this exam on a serious level. Even if some of the universities are they are not in the list, but in order to enroll in the central universities, you have to crack CUET undergraduate exam with high marks, because the cutoff will be high, because the seats are limited. Limited seats, high cutoff. So these are the priorities which you need to crack in order to get into your dream university and even your desired domain or subject that you want to get. So these are the facilities which we are always insisting, or which I am insisting you people to enroll here, because a lot of students have already come under our umbrella, where they are following the classes, the sessions that we are providing. And because the sessions are very much explanatory, and because the sessions are actually some kind of doubt clearing sessions, so there is an individual interaction on the basis that the questions that you opt for us, the questions that you comment We are here to discuss the questions in a detailed manner. So hope you all understand and hope you all are excited to get enrolled under BPS. So next is number 3, that is trauma and stressor related disorder. Here what happens, here some kind of stressor, that is external stressor. Like earthquake, environmental stressor, earthquake, some kind of duel, some kind of natural calamity, flood, drought, etc. So the external stimuli which is creating some kind of stress and having some kind of traumatic experiences, and after the postmath or the aftermath of the traumatic situation is creating some kind of disorder, and that we term it as the PTSD. And this is one of the prominent question, this is one of the prominent concept that you need to know about PTSD, because this will be frequent. This is actually, there is a probability that questions based on input text or anything may be asked in relation to PTSD, because a lot of incidents are happening in our contemporary life or in our present situation where students or people are actually facing PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder. That means the stress which happened after a traumatic situation is creating some kind of disorder. Yes. Next we have the somatic symptom and related disorder. Now what is somatic system disorder? The term itself is coming out of nowhere, because students are actually, when I have interacted with some of these students, a few students, I have come to know that they don't know the word, the meaning of somatic symptom. So what is somatic symptom? So this is, they are blank, most of them, a few of them, not most, a few of them are totally blank on the concept of somatic system. This is the symptom where a person is having some kind of symptoms, and the minor or trivial symptoms, the person is actually facing some kind of disorder, because he or she is thinking that these minor symptoms may create some kind of grave diseases or grave disorders. So a lot of examples we have recorded, we have explained in our recorded sessions. In order to come into or know about the somatic system disorder, go through the website, enroll here and try to understand what is somatic system disorder. This is the disorder where minor symptoms may be taken as something very serious, and the person will be thinking about it, or will be thinking about the symptom as very serious. And this is a disorder where a person is thinking that he or she may have some kind of serious disease or serious problem, or he may die because of this minor symptom. That is the somatic system disorder, symptom disorder. And the related disorders are illness, anxiety disorder and conversion disorder. So these are the disorders where a conversion disorder is something where a person from birth, he or she was not experiencing or facing any kind of illness or disorder, but because of a sudden situation he has converted. For example, he became limp, or he became blind, or or anything. So any conversion from the original state is actually having some kind of disorders or creating some kind of disorders in his entire personality. So till here we will be concluding the session for today, because the other disorders are a bit lengthy, which will take another session. So hope you all understood the concepts that I spoke today, and hope that the session is going to create that much of enthusiasm in you to go through the session, go through the next session, that where we will be continuing with the other social disorders. Till here, keep preparing and also enjoy the festivity around you.